What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to another video. I just got done destroying myself on Stairmaster. I'm literally drenched in sweat, 2 sweats on. It was a rough one, but this leads me to the point of this video, and that is do your cardio. There's a lot of people out there that say with good diet and proper training, you can achieve your dream physique without doing cardio. And that may be right, but for most people, that's just not the truth. And I am one of them. I have a pretty good diet. I would say it's not perfect. It's actually far from perfect, but what I and most people would consider a very strict diet. I do little cheats here and there. But that leads me to my point once again. Do your cardio. It is absolutely calories in versus calories out. And I know I've mentioned this in other videos, and I mention this all the time to my clients, because if you just do your cardio, you don't have to be so in your head about, am I burning enough calories throughout the day? Is my diet clean enough? Am I training hard enough? I actually stopped training as hard. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not still training hard. I'm still training hard, but I'm not pushing myself to where I cannot even heal fast enough, because that's what was happening. On the last bulk I did, I was training so hard that I actually could not recover in almost a week's worth of time. And to me, that just wasn't right. I felt terrible. I was constantly dragging. I was eating probably cleaner then as well, but just, a little bit more food. And what I ended up doing is I cut back on that a little bit and realized that it's not all about how hard you push yourself. It's about the consistency of it over time, right? So if you go into the gym and push yourself extremely hard one day, and then the next day you're so sore that you can't even train, that consistency is out the door, and you basically just lose that. Not to say that 2 days is going to make the biggest difference, but I think you get what I'm saying, that over time, it's all about the consistency. So ever since I stopped training as hard, I can lift 6 days a week, doing cardio 7 days a week. I can go out with my girlfriend and get some, we can go out to eat. We can go get ice cream or different sweet treats, treat ourselves like we're not on prep for a show. And for most people, they're not on prep for a show either. If you are, kind of disregard what I'm saying, because that is completely different. And I can truthfully say that because I've been through 2 different preps for 2 different bodybuilding shows. And I prep clients myself. If you're not on a prep though, and you just want to maintain that lean physique, you do not have to go balls to the wall as hard as you can training and then not do your cardio. Like, for example, today I did a lift 45 minutes. If your lift is more than 45 minutes, you're probably just not being efficient. I'm going to say for sure over an hour, you're probably just wasting your time. Now, that's for people that have time to train, 5-6 days a week. If you only have time to train 3 times a week, well then, yeah, try to get in the gym as much as you can. But even then, overworking yourself probably isn't the best option, because if you're only working out 3 days a week, you should probably be more so worrying about the calories that you're taking out of your body and trying to keep yourself in that deficit, because on those days you're not training, you're probably just keeping everything in your system and not burning enough off. So that's kind of the point I want to make. I could go into probably a lot more depth on this, but I'm going to leave it to where most people can understand. If you have questions, please leave them in the comment box down below. But back to me personally, I've just been working on cardio. This is kind of cool, and I wanted to mention this today. I've still been training very hard, very consistent and everything. But 1 year ago, when I was on my prep for a show, I looked, it popped up on my Snapchat memories, and I just seen that I am 13 pounds lighter today than I was 1 year ago today on my prep for a show. I weighed in at 179 pounds today. It's crazy. my last year's stage weight. I stepped on stage. And for those of you who don't know how I look, you can either watch my other videos from that show, or you can go on my Instagram and see my posts from that last show. But I stepped on stage at 171 pounds. And I was lean. My ab veins were coming up. Like I would consider that lean. I wouldn't consider that shredded, but I was lean. I took second place at my show, which meant I obviously was pretty lean. I think I had a class of like 21 guys or something like that. It was an extremely big class for the classic physique portion of the show, the classic physique class. So with that being said, I feel like I'm in a place where my training is starting to click. I'm figuring out how my body works, how I eat, when to eat, when I feel best for me personally. And I'm trying to teach other people that along the way, such as doing the cardio, trying to keep it more consistent than training harder and less consistency. Like these are just things I'm doing. It might work different for somebody else, but this is what's working for me. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got to say. I'm going to leave you with a lift that I recently did. It was a chest and back day. So I'll leave you with that one. Once again, if you have questions, please let me know. If you want to see any other type of videos, let me know as well. I know I've been doing these short talks, just, with the lifts in my videos. But honestly, that's my life. I wake up, I go to work, I lift, eat, go to bed, repeat the next day, right? Like that, those are my days. They're super simple. I don't go out and do any of these crazy trips or anything like that. I want to get into that, but I need the support from you to be able to do that. So please, if you haven't subscribed, do it. Leave likes, leave comments. Just do the job as a viewer, right? No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you watching these videos. Just clicking on it helps me out a lot. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. That being said, let's get into the rest of the video.
Straight down like what? 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 My pockets stay filled like a juice pot. And I know you tryna hear on my name.